Okay. So this is the whole graph, right? So you can see it begins from the company or either the factory, right? For the company, when it comes to the company, there are several departments, right? You know, the HR department, marketing department, finance department, whoever will require PP. Let's say finance departments need a laptop to keep the financial records, to maintain the general ledger, likewise. Okay. So they require PP items to purchase. I'm here, right? I'm here. So they require PP items to purchase. Okay. Okay. So they need the factory need. I got an example. The factory, let's say it's a garment. It's a company from the apparel industry. So it's a company from the apparel industry. So let's say they need a new production line, right, with many sewing machines and other equipments. Let's say like that, right? So they make the request. So anyone, if someone from the company need to purchase something, right, from the to the company, so they need to contact the purchasing department, right? We also call this as supply chain management department. Purchasing department එකට අපි කියනවා supply chain management department කියලා, right? So they are handling the deals. They are handling the deals, transactions, businesses with the suppliers. Okay. So anyone who need to purchase something with the prior approval, they have to make the request to purchasing department, right? So purchasing department. So I have given some examples, right? I have given some examples such as land and building, machineries, office equipment, some items. So fixed assets means what? Long-term assets. Let's say these tables, these chairs, right? This whiteboard, this camera, right? If you are staying at home, you are the land, the building. Those are the things which we call PPE. So I have given some examples. So when it comes to expenditure of property, plant and equipment, we can divide it into two, right? Some we have to identify as expenses and some we have to identify as property, plant and equipment under LK 16. Hope at this point I hope you have a general idea about the LK 16 property, plant and equipment, right? So with that assumption I am moving on. So if it's a revenue nature type of an expense, you have to immediately take it into the P&L. You have to expense it, right? If it's capital nature, you can assetize it. You can take it to the balance sheet as an asset and you can depreciate over the useful lifetime. Okay. So this is what it about. It's a general idea. You will not be required to, but when you are writing answers for the audit procedures and answering for these types of questions, you might have to apply this knowledge, right? You might have to apply this knowledge into that. So we will begin again from here, right? So I have given you some examples and this is how it's going to happen, right? Let's say your company, your factory, right, based on the increased customer demand, you are going to implement a new production line, right, with many sewing machines and with many other type of equipments, right, tables and let's say there are different types of items, right, which they use. So it's a huge expense. That's what I wanted to tell you. It's not like buying some materials, right, buying some consumable items, buying some stationaries. It's different from that, right? Because property, plant, equipment is even valuable than gold. I told inventories like gold, no? So this is more valuable, right? So inventory will impact to the profitability and the short term, but property, plant and equipments are the long term items, right? so which are non-current. So you can't just request and buy them, right? So if it is fabrics, if it is what else? If it's needles, right? If it's some yarn, so I'm taking the example of garment, right? So those items you can quickly buy. You can just make the requirement and you can define what is the requirement. Okay, 1,000 an order of 4,000 t-shirts has been received. So I need this much of fabric. You can justify it. But when it comes to, let's say, 100 sewing machines, right? Let's say a sewing machine, let's say it costs around 3 lakhs, right? So if you are going to buy 10 machines, it will cost about 3 million, right? So as it's a huge amount, right? So you need to make your attention. You can't just approve it and you can't just ask the supplier to provide it, right? So for these types of transactions, there is a thing called capital budget. Hope you can see. Capital budget, right? Capital budget means it includes the approved limits by the board of directors. Who are the board of directors? Can you remember? This is just to remind you, right? So owners of the company are different, right? They are a separate party, right? So directors are the people who are representing the owners of the company and who are managing the company, who are managing the management, the directors, right? So to purchase property, plant and equipment, you need to have the approval of directors, right? So this is what do you call that document you call capital budget, right? That means for the next year, let's say even in the parliament, the finance minister reads the budget for the next year. In 2018, he reads the budget for 2019, he read, right? For the budget of 2021, he reads the budget in this year, okay? So likewise, the directors of the company are normally giving a prior approval. Okay, 2021, this will be our income. So this much of PP we can purchase, right? So it's based on the approval of the directors. Let's say the directors has given approval to purchase only 20 sewing machines in 2021, only 20 machines in 2021. So they can't buy 30. Though the production factory manager says I need 30 sewing machines, no, can't. Directors has only allowed to buy 20. You can't have that extra 10, right? So capital budget is that. That means the approved amounts, approved values by the directors of the company to purchase property, plant and equipment items, right? For capital nature items. That's what do you call capital budget. Okay, so based on the request, right? Based on the request, you have to cross check it with the capital budget, right? After receiving the request to buy, to purchase, you have to cross check it with the capital budget. Okay, so after comparing, after valuing it with the capital budget, what you can do? You can go to the supplier selection. So here So this is the same procurement process we discussed. What? Supply selection and raising the PO, right? So it goes same. So supply selection, raising the PO, GRN, invoice receiving, three-way matching, everything happens, right? So මෙතනින් එහාට අර අපි කතා කරු procurement process එකම තමයි, right? So this is the new addition to this capital budget, right? Okay. Then now you received the good. Let's assume. Then මං කියවනේ මෙතනින් එහාට අර process එකමයි යන්නේ. So now you receive the goods. Now what do? After receiving the goods, you have to record it in your books. You have to record it in your books. What do you call for that? You call it fixed assets register, FAR, fixed assets register. Right? To record the transaction, you use what? Fixed assets register, FAR. We call it FAR. So this is like the attendance register you had in your school, right? It includes what? It includes number of the students, your names, and your attendance, right? On this day, what were you there or not? Likewise, you will have separate columns for on a daily basis. Likewise, in a company also, to manage this property, plant and equipments, you have a fixed asset register. It's like a book. Nowadays, it's in the system, right? It's in the system. It's a separate module, right? In that you have what is the asset. Okay, what is the description from where you purchased it? What is the useful life of that particular asset? What is the accumulated depreciation amount, disposals, everything you have there, right? So this is a fixed assets register. So what you need to know is what do you include in a fixed asset register? That's what you need to know, right? And you need to know it is important to have a fixed asset register if the examiner is given, he have given you a scenario or a question from the fixed asset management process, right? So you need to keep in mind what are the important points. This is very important, and capital budget is very important. Okay, and so as I told you, the purchase date. Okay, yesterday was the purchase date. So land value, land. What is the purchase item? Land. Okay, land value 10 million. Accumulated depreciation just a 1 day. No depreciations yet. Revaluation. If you do a revaluation after in the next year, you have to mention it. Disposal details you have to mention, right? At last, you have to mention the useful life as well. The other one is regarding the fixed asset management process. It's important to do annual fixed asset verifications, right? That means annually you have to verify whether those are available, right? Let's say you have a land in a rural area, right? So let's say you bought it like 10 years back. If you visit it after 10 years, just to see whether land is there, someone might have built a house on the land, right? So if you have fixed assets, you need to physically verify and ensure that these are available with us, right? Let's say we purchased 10 laptops 4 years back, and it's remaining in our books, right? It's depreciating. But if you physically take a look into them, those are not available. Some are broken, right? Some are the resigned employees has taken home. We don't know. To ensure that, what we need to do, because we are recording these in the books, no? We are recording these costs in the books. We are recording these accumulated depreciations in the books, right? So to do that, it should have actual existence. ඇත්තට මේක නැත්තම් අපි record කරන් ඉඳලා වැඩක් තියනවාද books වල. So to ensure that, we need to take a look annually. at least annually, right? Annual fixed asset verification is highly recommended under a fixed asset verification, fixed asset management process, right? And disposals. So if you are disposing some item, you have to take out the cost, you have to take out the accumulated depreciation, you have to consider the consideration received, cash, and you have to account for the disposal. Simply that's very simple, right? So that's all. Simply that's all under property, plant and equipment process. And also remember, what is the importance? Why do we need a capital budget for PP? We didn't have a capital budget for or a specific budget you might have, but specifically we are having this for property, plant and equipment because it's what? Because the assets values are huge, right? And these are long term nature assets, right? Purchase is less frequent. We are not frequently purchasing. අදත් sewing machines 10ක් අරගෙන හෙටත් ගන්න නැහැ. So if we purchase some sewing machines, we will not buy again until the demand has increased or until the using sewing machines are not in a good condition, right? So that's the importance of having a capital budget. That's why we are having a separate capital budget, right? So that's enough to discuss under that. And also and another part I missed, right? Wait. Physical safeguards, same as inventory, right? So you need to protect them, right? It's very valuable. So we have purchased them to use for a long term. So we have to we have to keep them safely, right? So we have to maintain them in a proper manner. So what people can do? So you can fix CCTV cameras, right? Even in land, even in buildings, even near valuable machineries, you have CCTV cameras, right? And also maintaining them frequently, maintaining them properly. Put them, if you need to put oil it properly, oil it in a frequent manner. Maintain it, right? Clean the machineries, and all are very important, right? So when it comes to property, plant and equipment process, those are the important points. So so you can go through the TUT, right? And you can go through you can go through the study text as well, right? So that's the end of business processes, right? So that's the end of the discussion under business processes. Okay, so now if you look into the content, right? So if you look at again at the content, right, we have completed business environment, corporate governance, risk management, business processes. Here we go. And now we are going to discuss internal controls. So let me brief the lesson for you, right? Internal controls. So what are the internal controls? What is the meaning of internal controls? So the tute is not yet distributed to you, right? It's tute number 3. So we will make an arrangement to distribute the tute to you. So until then, I will move on with brief notes, right? With some examples, I will explain you one by one, right? Through same as done up to now, I will use mind maps, these charts to explain, right? So actually, now though we haven't described this topic as a separate lesson, already now you have a general idea about internal controls. Why would I say that? Right? Internal controls means the things we discussed very recently, right? The processes. So within those business processes, we have internal controls. As an example, let's say you are going to purchase something, right? So if you are going to purchase, what do you need to do? As a purchasing department, let's assume you are going to purchase some number of goods from a supplier, right? So what you need to do? You have to call for quotations, right, and select an appropriate supplier, right? So that's a control. That's the internal control there, right? So within these business processes only we are having internal controls, right? May business process ඇතුලේ තමයි internal controls තියෙන්නේ, right? So capital budget is an internal control, right? Having a fixed asset register is an internal control, right? So before raising a PEO, selection of suppliers is a internal control. It's an internal control. So here we are going to define some theoretical things, right? So this is the practical scenario of internal controls, right? මේක තමයි practical scenario එක. But now we are going to take a view, have an aspect about the internal controls, right? The reason I didn't do this before doing the business process is then you will understand nothing, right? Because this is very theoretical. මේක theory එකක් තියෙන්නේ. There is a thing called causal framework, right? There are objectives, there are components, right? So it's little bit theory. So all these are very practical. No, I explained to you with very practical examples. So this is the theoretical aspect of the things we discussed here. We just discussed, right? So first understand that, right? Internal controls means are the things we discussed. Internal controls exist within the process we discussed. Okay? So now I will define what is an internal control, right? So as I told you, the whole lesson is given in the tute 3, right? So simply we can define internal controls in this way, right? Internal controls means introduced processes by the management to accomplish business objectives, right? Management එකෙන් introduce කරලා තියෙන processes වලට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ, that's what we call internal controls, right? To what? Internal controls are introduced to what? To accomplish business objectives, right? So now we are going to discuss about business objectives. Now tell me, what is the business objective? Normally what is the business objective? Objective of a business. Normally in a profit oriented business, a normal business, to maximize the wealth of the owners. That means to earn a maximum profit, right? So that's an objective. So as same, it's an objective of the internal controls as well, right? Business age objective එක තමයි to give back maximum to the owners, right? That means to increase the wealth of the owners. So as same, it is an objective of internal controls, right? Management එකේ objective එකට යන්න ඕන වෙන්න තමයි අපි මේව හදලා තියෙන්නේ, right? We have designed these internal controls to achieve owners objectives. Okay, so there are three main objectives of internal controls. Three main objectives of internal controls. So one is, as I told you, we can say maximize the profit, right? So you can see the profit from where? Profit එක අපිට පෙන්වන්නේ කොහෙද? Yes, it's given under what? It's given under financial statements. By referring the financial statements only, we can understand what is the profit for this year, what is the total asset value for this year, as at the end of this year, what is the liability position as at the period end. Likewise, in accomplishing the objective of maximizing the profits of owners, so here we have implemented internal controls. So one particular objective is to reliable financial reporting, to provide reliable financial reporting, right? So we'll make a note, right? Okay. Now you can see, let me explain internal controls, right? So I have drawn here why internal controls has arisen, how internal controls has arisen, right? So as you can see here, as I have explained to you several times, owners and directors, owners and the management of the company are two different parties, right? So I clubbed here directors and management together, right? So owners make an investment, right, through the directors to the company, right? So these are the responsible people for the invested funds. So in return, owners are expecting a return, right? So that's what I have mentioned here. And so there are objectives, no? There are objectives of owners. What is the objective? The return, right? So to ensure the return, what the management or the directors do is, they have implemented internal controls to accomplish business objectives, right? So in arriving these objectives, they have implemented internal controls. In Sinhala we call this Abhyantara Palanayan, right? So take it very simple. It's very simply, right? So let's take an example from your home, right? So majority of the students of my class are still doing their A levels, right? So still you are students, still you are under 18 years old, right? Maybe over that also. However, as still you are living with your parents, most of you are still living with your parents, can you go out of the home, come back to the home at any time you want? Is it allowable? It's not, right? Though you go to a party, though you go to meet one of your friend, right? So you have to be back at home at the given time, right? At the agreed time. If not, at least you have to give a phone call and tell that I am getting late. Otherwise, your mother or your father will shout off you, right? If you have a girlfriend, if you have a boyfriend, they might have implemented you they have introduced you some internal controls, right? So that happens. So likewise, even in a school, can you leave anytime that you want? You can't, right? So in a school, there are some procedures, policies, rules, regulations. So you have to follow them, right? As same, so these are like some rules and regulations to follow, internal controls, right, in arriving the objective. So simply internal controls is like that. Even in a business, you can't, as you are an employee, just as you are an employee, you can't do just whatever you want, right? You can't do that. You have to, so when you are getting an appointment letter, when you are getting an appointment, they will give you the scope of your job. So this is what you need to do, right? While you are working in the finance, you can go to the production floor and so, right? So you can go to the marketing and deal with customers. You can't do that, right? So if you are a office assistant, right? Let's say you are printing the invoice to deliver to the customer. You need to get the approval of your boss, from your boss, right? So if you are going to purchase some goods to the business, you have to get the approval from your boss, from your head of the department. Likewise, internal controls are some controls in place. Just understand, like you are having controls at your home, right? You can do whatever do you want, right? There is a culture, there is a tradition in the things such are happening, right? Otherwise, the objectives of your parents will not meet, right? So likewise, the management and the directors of the company has introduced what? Internal controls to the business, right? So this is just an introduction, right? If you want a definition, we will distribute the tute, right? We will find out a way to do that. You can coordinate with the institute, IAS. So I have given you a picture description for the internal controls, right? I have given the definition in this way. No need to have a theoretical definition because examiner will never ask what is an internal control. Never. So rarely they can ask, but if they ask, you can describe very simply in your words, right? Audit is not a hard subject, right? I agree, it's a little boring. That's only because you are not experiencing it, right? As I am experiencing it, as I am a professional in this industry, it's interesting to me because I practice it, right? Day by day I am having new experiences. So this is boring to you only because you are just listening to the lecture. You don't know what is practically happening. That's why I take from the examples from the real world, right? So මේ ටික ගලපලා ඔයාගේ වචන ලියන්න පුළුවන්. You can write it in your own words, right? Internal controls are the procedures, or you can say activities introduced by the management in accomplishing business objectives. Very simple, right? So under internal controls, there are three main topics for you to study. That's all. මේ ටික විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. And there is another part, inherent limitations of internal controls, right? IC means internal controls. So inherent limitations of internal controls is another part. So that's all, right? So first you need to know what are the objectives of internal controls. What are the objectives? Simply the objectives are same as the business objectives. I will map into this, right? මේකයි map කරලා පෙන්නන්න. Objectives. So there are only 3 objectives. So we can learn it. And there are types of internal controls, right? There are 6 types of internal controls. So I will explain that also in an easy way, right? Next, you need to learn about the components, which is important. More than the types, the components are important, right? So we'll do that also. And finally, inherent limitations of internal controls, which is very important, which has questioned many times, right? So we'll discuss about the objectives first, right? So the first objective is, as I told to you, what is the main objective of the owners? To maximize their wealth, right? To maximize their wealth. So in arriving maximizing the wealth, how do we present it to the owners? With financial statements, right? So one objective of internal controls is, we'll write. So I will first write the example and then I will write the name of the objective, right? So for your understanding. As you can see, one of the business objective is to maximize the wealth, right? This is the business objective. So this is the objective of the internal control. This is the name of the objective of the internal control, right? So in red color I am writing objectives of internal controls. IC stands for internal controls, right? So to maximize the wealth, what is the designed internal control? What is the objective of the internal control? Reliability of financial reporting in another name, right? To minimize the costs and increase the value, we call it, that objective we call, yes, effectiveness and efficiency of operations. Effectiveness and efficiency of operations. So hope writing is clear, right? As you don't have a note. Effectiveness and efficiencies of operations, right? That's another objective. And the directors and the owners don't want to have police at their premises, right? So that's another objective. To avoid legal problems, litigation matters, right? They don't want to be punished. They don't want to have a penalty, right? So to avoid that, what do you need? You need to comply with rules and regulations, right? Compliance with rules and regulations. Okay, so these three are the objectives. Okay, no need to buy hard. Remember with the examples I illustrated to you, right? So this really do map with the business objectives, right? This is in line with the business objectives. So simply, reliability of financial reporting, effectiveness and efficiency of operations, compliance with rules and regulations, right? So these three are the internal control objectives. These are the internal control objectives. So who has introduced this? කවුද මේක කියන්නේ? AIT Institute එකෙන්ද? නැත්නම් Chartered Institute එකෙන්ද? නැත්නම් IAS එකෙන්ද? Or me, right? So these objectives are given by a world recognized institution, right? Which you call Committee of Sponsoring Organization, COSO, right? Committee of Sponsoring Organization. So I will, you don't need to write this at the exam. Just for your understanding, I will mention it, right? By COSO. By COSO, right? COSO is Committee of Sponsoring Organization. Committee of Sponsoring Organization. So that's a different organization which they only have introduced this framework, right? So this is a separate framework for internal controls, right? So that's all about the objectives. Right? So you can make it in the note. In the blue color things, it's not mandatory to write, but you have to mention, which I have pointed out in red color. Okay? So those are the objectives of internal controls. Next, we are going to discuss the types of the internal controls. Okay? Types of the internal controls. So if you don't have the TUT, right? You don't have the TUT yet now. So you can, if you have the study pack with you, you can refer it, right? Okay. So this is very easy. The objectives, as I told, there are 6 objectives. 3 objectives I have already given. We have already discussed, right? So the types also we can categorize based on the objectives. There are two ways, right? 2 ways to classify. Give me a second. So based on objectives, right? Here we have discussed, we have already discussed the objectives, right? Nothing to learn new. We call operational controls, financial controls and compliance controls. Okay, operational controls, financial controls, compliance controls. So based on the objectives, it's not different, right? Same as these. So now we are going to discuss what are the operational controls. So what are the operational controls? Simply, right? Let's say to minimize the wastage, they have implemented controls, right? So let's say a garment, right? So if they are sewing some clothes, t-shirts, so to minimize the wastage, they might have introduced different methods. The way of cutting, right? They might have introduced some internal controls, right, to minimize the wastage. Even in let's say even in a bakery, right? So let's say they prepare 100 bread, right? 100 items of bread. So what will happen? Let's say 60 items was only sold, right? So what will happen to the rest of 40? Yes? Will they throw it out? Never. Right? What they will do? They will bake it. Either they will dry it, and what they will do? They will make a powder. Right? What we call biscuit powder. Right? So likewise, the companies will make actions to minimize their wastage. Okay. So we call them the operational controls, right? So and also we can have an example. Let's say now they are having sewing machines. So as our example, the garment. So what they will do is daily, on a daily basis, they will clean the machines, right? They will clean up the machines, right? The cleaning the whole manufacturing line, manufacturing flow, right? Putting oil to the machines, oiling the machines, and if some other chemicals are required, put in them, right? If needles are broken, replace them, right? Even in a garment, let's say the girl who is sewing the clothes, let's say due to a small mistake the needle got broken, what will happen? So now to carry out her work moving forward, she need to get a new needle, right? So to get a new needle from the needle issuing counter, she have to show the broken parts of a needle and take it to the counter to get the new needle, right? So if a needle is broken into, let's say, 3 parts due to having a huge weightage on the cloth, let's say the needle got broken, now it has broken to 3 parts, right? So to get a new needle, she have to show the broken 3 parts to the counter, otherwise they will never issue a new needle. What is the reason? What if the broken needle part got attached into a cloth which we are going to sell to a customer and issue that good? What will happen? For sure, we will lose that customer, for sure, right? So it's a very quality requirement, right? If something like that happens, it will be a huge reputational damage to that particular company, right? So likewise, so to avoid regular breakdowns, right? So what we can do? Proper maintenance. Properly we can maintain day by day. We can properly maintain the things. So those are the operational controls. So I will tell you. Can you write under operational controls? First point. So we have a risk and we have a response, right? So the control is implemented to avoid the risk. So there are risks, right? So here hope you can see there are operational risks. There are operational risks. To avoid them, controls are implemented. Okay. So what is the operational risk? The machinery is breaking down while operating. The sewing machine. Write an example. The sewing machine is getting breakdown while operating. The sewing machine is getting breakdown while operating. That's a risk. So what is the control you can do? What is the control you can have? Regular maintenance, regular checking, right? Regular technical checking. You can write regular maintenance and quality checking for the sewing machines before getting breakdown. Right? Another example, it's another operational risk that employees are stealing the items. Let's say, even in a garment, nobody is allowed to take anything home, right? Any cloth they can't take. Though they sew 100,000 of clothes, they can't take them out, right? It's because all the items are manufacturing for a specific customer requirement. Normally in a garment who are sewing for an international brand, they don't sell these items outside, right? So if people are taking it out, it's illegal, right? So it's a risk, right? Theft of inventories is a risk, right? So I took the examples in the study pack, right? So if I tell some more different examples, it will be difficult for you to remember different examples, right? So if you are referring this, I can give you some more examples, but not required, right? Too much of information. So what you can do to avoid inventories being theft, what you can do? You can implement a CCTV camera system. Very simple, CCTV camera system, right? So that's a operational control, right? Quickly write financial controls as an example for a financial control. Make a payment for items which are not received. Make a payment for the items which are not received. Make a payment for the items which are not received. That's a risk. So the risk is making a payment for an unreceived good. Making a payment for an unreceived good, right? So what you can do to avoid? What is the control? What is the control? Three-way matching. Three-way matching. Simple. Three-way matching. So even in a company which I have audited, we ended up with a mistake. We found out a fraud, right? Where the company has make a payment for a fake vendor, for a fake supplier, right? It's a bogus supplier, right? That supplier is fake. Supplier is fake. But we have made the payment, right? It's a fraud. An employee has done it and they caught up, right? So it's a huge value too, right? So likewise, we should have some financial controls. If cash is going out from the business, we should control it, right? And compliance controls. What are compliance controls? Yes? To avoid being illegal, we can have some compliance controls, legal controls. Okay, so financial controls, right? So when it comes to financial controls, what is the risk I told to you? Making a payment for unreceived goods, right? Not received goods. So what is the control you can place? Three-way matching. What is three-way matching? We should match together the purchase order, the invoice, and what is the other one? GRN, right? So we have to match those three together before making a payment. Before making a payment. So that's an example for the financial control, right? Another one. So let's say you are not issuing an invoice or a payment cash receipt when you are selling goods, right? Let's say that's a manpower company, right? Let's say that's a manpower company. So they are hiring their employees to outside companies for some certain services, right? So what they do is, let's say some maintenance services, electronic wiring or something. So they will provide the service. So they will get the payment and they will go, the particular person who are providing the service, right? So that's not his money. That does not belongs to him, right? That belongs to the company. So what he need to do is, he need to hand over, right? While handovering, what he need to do? They have to issue an invoice. Just take a conductor, right? Conductor, normally conductor is not the owner of the bus, no, right? So he is just an employee of that bus owner, of that employer. So both the driver and the conductor. So how to ensure whether the conductor handing over all the money which he has collected from the customers, the passengers? How to ensure? Normally you can't ensure, right? The bus owner doesn't know whether he is receiving all the collected cash from the passengers through the conductor. He is not sure, right? So what he can do? He can ask the conductor to issue a ticket, and it's mandatory. Now normally it's mandatory, but those people don't do that, right? So that the bus owners normally do is, they know, let's say if it is a weekday on this route, what's the income of a day? They know that, right? So if it's highly fluctuating, they don't believe it, right? So it's uncontrollable actually, right? But in CTP buses there is a control, right? So you have ticket checkers, the people who inspectors, right? Who inspect whether all the passengers has bought a ticket or not, right? So there is a control. So likewise, if you are not issuing invoices or receipts for all the received cash, how to ensure the completeness of the transactions? Unable to ensure the completeness of the transactions, right? So that's another risk, not issuing an invoice for all the collections. අපි ගන්න හැම collection එකටම අපි invoice එක issue කරන්නේ නැත්නම් we unable to ensure that. So what you can do? You can ask someone to check. Let's say a customer is buying a good after coming to the shop, right? So the person who are selling the item to the customer and the person who are collecting the cash are two different people normally. Go to a Union Chemist pharmacy or the what you call there are some more popular companies like that, right? So the goods which will be issued from another counter, cash will be collected from another person, two different people, right? So they can track whether invoice is actually issued or not. The invoice is issued or not, they can ensure, right? So that's also another financial control, right? Financial control. So next point, compliance controls. Compliance controls. What are the compliance controls? Yes, we can ensure compliance with the rules and regulations always, right? If we are paying income tax, right? If we are making the payments for the value added taxes, what else? If we have some customs duty to pay, if we are paying it regularly, right? If we are dealing with our customers in a loyal way, right? So if such things are happening, the compliance is there, right? So even in the note you can see and also in the even in the study pack it has stated, like let's say there are some specific regulations for some companies, right? So we call them special companies such as banks, right? So there are many regulations to a bank, right? So in managing the customers cash, in managing their investments, in managing their asset base, so there are many regulations for them to follow. So if they are following that properly, then it's compliance, right? So if it's a bakery, so they should follow the respective act to them, right? So they have to follow the respective guidelines given by the respective departments, right? For the fisheries, they have to follow up the regulations issued by them and the gazettes, government acts and all, right? So to ensure the compliance, we need to follow them, right? So I do not suppose to give you lengthy notes for each and every point, because otherwise your note will also become a study guide or a tube, right? So we are just taking the points. We are just taking the points. We are writing lengthy things when we are doing the past papers, right? So we will describe in a lengthy way when we are doing the past papers, right? Not at this point. We are just scanning the lesson, and we are having the big picture. That's very important. Whatever you study, always try to have a big picture. So this is the big picture, right? So this is the bird eye view. This is the bird eye view from the top, how we can see this lesson, right? So compliance controls are those. So just remember an example. Under this, write an example. A bank should act on behalf of the Banking Act, right? Under compliance, right? Banks should act on behalf of banks should act on behalf of the Banking Act. Okay? Banks should act on behalf of the Banking Act. Compliance. So now we are having individual examples for each, right? Then we will move on to preventive, detective and corrective controls, which we call behavioral controls. Behavioral controls, right? So behavioral control means preventive. What is preventive? Prevent means what? To stop something, right? Simply, even in our office, right? Entrance is restricted only to the employees. No one other outside clients or someone external party can enter into the working flow without approval, right? So what we have is we have a fingerprint machine. So we have to keep the fingerprint machine, then only the door will open. We can open the door. So that's called a preventive control. Preventive control, like a lock system in a door, right? Prevent. Navattana. මොකක් හරි වෙන දෙක නවත්තන්න. So let's say we are having some in new buildings, right? The buildings which are designed with the new technology are normally having automatic fire sensors, right? So if a smoke goes to the top, it can recognize. There is a sensor. So that's after that sensor recognize that there are some water showers, right, which will spray water here and there. So that's what, to prevent a fire. Prevent, right? So if you are having a control to stop something, that's a preventive control, right? Let's say someone is checking your cards before you enter into the classroom. That's what? That's a preventive control, right? If some action is taken to stop something, that's called a preventive control. Okay? So what's the difference with the detective control? What's the difference of these two? Let's say on other days, a person, the card marking uncle or someone is coming into the class and checking whether you have paid your fees, right? Whether you have your card, whether you are a student of IAS, right? That's a detective control, right? Before entering, if he is checking in front of the door, it's a preventive control, right? After all of you are coming and getting seated in the class, after that, if that person is coming and checking your cards, that's a detective control. Hope you can understand the concept. Prevent is what? Standing at the doorstep and checking the card, right? Detective control means let you come in, let you have a seat, and then checking. That's what? To detect, to catch up, like police, right? So, an example for this: preventive controls, restricted access, right? Restricted example, right? Restricted access. Restricted access. Here also we can identify what is the risk, what is the response, what is the risk, what is the response. But no need, just write the example. Preventive control, restrict the access, restrict the access. Or prevent wasting, right? Prevent wasting. Waste වෙන එක නවත්තන්න. Let's say you are having some washing machines within your garment. Washing is another process in a garment. So they have washing machines, right? So let's say to prevent water wastage, what they can do? They can take out the dirty water out and they can recycle it, right? And use them back. So that's a what? That's a preventive control. To prevent what? Prevent wastage. So you can write a risk, preventive control, a risk, higher wastage, that's a risk, higher wastage. So what is the response? Implement recycling processes. Implement recycling processes. Okay. So now the detective control. As I told you, after something happen, you can control, you can find out it. Right here, example, internal audit. That means you are having auditors internal in the organization and they will detect something happened, okay, catch him, right? Likewise, you can detect after something happened, right? And finally, corrective actions, corrective controls. What is corrective control? Yes, that means after detecting something, right, you can make the corrective action. Those are the controls which has implemented to correct the detected misstatement. මොකක් හරි misstatement එකක් වුණාම detect කරගත්තම to correct that you can have corrective actions, right? So what are the examples? Let's say invoices are duplicating in the system, right? So to avoid that, you can correct the system. මොකක් හරි system එකෙන් වැරද්දක් වෙනවා නම් you can correct it. Let's say your washing machine is leaking water, so what you can do? You can do a repair, you can do a small maintenance, right? So that's enough, right? So that's under internal control types. So as the time is getting over, we will discuss the rest from the next video, right? The components and the internal limitations. And so we have completed objectives and types. Okay, so we have left to do the components and the inherent limitations of internal controls. Then this part is also completed. And there is a small another topic called ITGC controls, which we'll do later on, right? So thereafter, from the next video onwards, for sure, we can move on to auditing part, which is the most important part, right? Here, so now we are in the business perspective part, right? So here, after completing internal controls, so we can move on to auditing part, which is the most important, right? So this has the highest content. So this will have around 40, 50 marks, and the rest is having more than 50 marks, right? The audit part is normally having more than 50 marks. So, so we will discuss the pilot paper, we will discuss the past papers, don't worry. So though with this pandemic, with the current situation, the prevailing situation, we will do our maximum for you to get through the exam. So believe in us, believe in you, you can. So don't waste time at home. So you can, so I know it's very boring to look at the notes and lengthy notes and everything. So you can just simply watch these videos. And also there are many videos available on YouTube. You can refer them too, right? If something is not clear, if you want more clarifications, you can just search. And also you can, I will arrange a program. I will arrange something like a WhatsApp group or something to have a communication with you, right? So to solve your problems, and especially I can give you my phone number, right? So if you are watching this video, right? I'm Dinith. So simply you can drop a WhatsApp message to me, or you can call me if you need any clarification, right? So so here from June, yeah, from June onwards, IS is planning to conduct online lectures, right? So after this situation is getting controlled for a little bit, so we will be able to, if that happens, we will be able to meet in a physical class as well if you want. So so however we will manage it. So the exams will be also postponed for a little more time. It's not confirmed yet. So so keep in touch. Believe in us. Believe in you. Don't be afraid. We will make our maximum. All the other lecturers also we will do their maximum to get through the exam. So we will do some past paper videos. We will do a model paper video with the pilot paper along with, right? So I will do a small revision from the beginning as well at the last day, and also I have a past paper analysis, right? I have a past paper analysis paper. So so I will ask the management to distribute this to you as well. And the tute number 3, we will make an arrangement to give it to you. So thank you everyone. So stay safe and be engaged with your study works as well, right? So thank you very much.